Hey everybody, it is I, your Survivor buddy Gordon Holmes here with the nerdiest thing you're going to do all week. I'm talking, of course, about the Survivor Power Rankings. Now, this is a tradition that started way back in Survivor Tolkien when Charlie Herschel and I were trying to figure out a way to harness our thoughts on that crazy season. Since then, Survivor favorites such as SWV star Taj George, Coach Wade, Malcolm Freeberg, Andrea Belke, Michelle Fitzgerald, and then last season, Owen Hart. I got Russell brain going on. Owen Knight did a fantastic job. Too many awesome people have done this over the years to name everybody, but congratulations to them for stepping up and accepting the challenge. And I know for a fact that some players have taken what they've learned here, gone back into the game and used it there. Like on the beach, they've had their own Survivor Power Rankings discussion. So that does my cold, dark heart good to hear that. But I am beyond excited to introduce my competition for this season. All you Frannie Stannies out there across the Survivorverse are going to love this. It's the Challenge Beast and Strategic Dynamo from Survivor 44. I'm, of course, talking about Frannie Marin. Frannie, welcome.
Woo! Yay! Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so proud to join the ranks. You like list me, and then with all those other amazing people, I feel like next year I get to be part of the list. This is very exciting.
It's a proud tradition. And if I do poorly, which I highly anticipate happening this season, I might call some of those people back to do some pinch hitting. I know Owen Knight is probably chomping at the bit to get here and show you a thing or two. Show you who's boss.
Oh no! Okay, now the stakes feel high. I feel like I really need to perform. Okay, noted.
So you're gonna root. Everybody's like, oh, I totally hope Gordon does poorly because I would love to see some other people step in. Relax. We'll see. I've done okay at this in the past. Just Owen ate my lunch. That's a thing kids say, right? He ate my lunch.
Stole my lunch. Neither sounds great, but ate my lunch. Sure. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we had a bet going that if I won, I'd get to be the best man in his wedding. I am not going to be the best man in his wedding.
Oh no. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah. What are the should we create a similar level of stakes?
Yes.
I'm not going to be wed anytime soon, I don't think.
But someday if you do, maid of honor.
Yeah. Okay. Whoa, now this changes the whole dynamic. Maybe I want you to win now. I'm not sure.
I could throw a heck of a bachelorette party, I tell you what.
I do. You could.
I can make it happen. All right, so before we get into what's going to happen this week, let's talk about what happened during the premiere episode. Frannie, how are you feeling about that crazy premiere?
It was a funky one. I feel like I came away from it and I was like, what just happened? I mean, it always is like a weird end to an episode when somebody quits. I feel like you kind of just look around and you're like, what did I just watch? Did it mean anything at all? But I feel like this was an episode that gave us a decent sense of a lot of these people and who they are without doing the, sob story, backstory packages that I think some of us are getting a little bit sick of. So yeah, I came away from it feeling good, feeling like I know people, and I'm excited to see what they have to do next.
As a power ranking, it's always kind of challenging in these early rounds where it's like, what do I say about D? Yeah. She seems nice, but like I tend to be like, you're going to be in the middle of the pack because I don't have a whole lot to say about you. As a former contestant and hopefully future contestant, how does it feel to see somebody tap out? Like, do you take it personally? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I feel like, oh gosh, well, it's so hard. First of all, I know that she's gotten such like backlash online, and I think that that's just ridiculous. I mean, the fact that people like go out of their way to, post something horrible about someone on the internet, like, please keep that thought inside your head. But yeah, it's hard. I will say, honestly, I am bummed for her. I'm sure that she has some sense of like disappointment in herself. You don't expect that to happen. But for me, I really feel like, the Survivor, like psych testing and casting, like they should be able to weed this out after this many years of casting, because like truly, every single person who plays Survivor, you think to some degree about how hard it will be, but nothing can prepare you. And so at that point, it's up to the casting people, the psych people who have seen so many contestants go through this to assess if you can do it. And I feel like there was maybe some disconnect there where she felt like she could, and they should have picked up that maybe she couldn't. So I feel bad for her because it just puts her in this position. But in another sense, I'm proud of her if she realized that she didn't want to be there. I do think it's nice that she said, hey, I'm going to take myself off the board and give these other people who really want to be here a shot. So yeah, I can't knock her too much for that.
Yeah, it was really interesting in the exit interview I conducted on Thursday was that if her tribe had won immunity, she would have stayed in. So it wasn't like she was desperate to leave. I think it very much was, Brandon and Emily want to be here more, and I don't. So let's help them out. It's still, at the end of the day, it's in my book, it's still a quit. But I don't hate quits. I do like the idea that this is hard. You know, this I
Yes.
think I know a lot of the former cast members are pretty upset about it, but like, doesn't this just sell? Like, you know, how badly, like how rough it is out there and how tough you guys are for taking care of this.
Mhm.
But my heart always goes out for the first boot because, like you mentioned, there's like it's not just you send in a tape. They're like, hey, come out to Fiji, and then you're on the show. Like, there's so much that goes into, you know,
Yes.
before you get handed that buff. So to go through all that and then to tap out, you know, she must have really been, you know, not having a good time out there.
Yeah, truly. Well, and what you said about like it, this demonstrating how hard it is. That's what I say to all the alums who are out there all the time saying 26 days isn't real. Like clearly this woman was struggling so much after day 3 of, and the no machete thing is insane. Like you can do almost nothing without a machete. And the fact that they, were all still kicking it to some degree after 3 days with no machete, I think is pretty impressive. So yeah, it's a bummer for her. But what, you disagree?
You can weave palm fronds
Oh,
without him.
and that's critical to survival. I'll tell you that.
Every survivor I've ever met has been like, this is a total waste of time.
Yeah, that was a hard one. That was a hard one with Bruce because it's like he's so right, but I don't think he should have said that like that. I was like, oh, I agree. I think actually Bruce and I had a long conversation about like my thoughts on the game, my thoughts on survival and stuff before he went back. And I think I told him weaving palm fronds is a waste of time. So I was like, oh no, you listened, but like maybe don't say it like that. Yeah, we can get
That's
it.
on you.
I know that's on me. That's literally on me.
If the September Alliance takes him out, it's Frannie's fault.
Yeah, I'll get him a big apology cake or something like that. That's my bad.
All right, you ready to jump into this?
Yes, I'm ready to jump into this.
Okay, the rules of the Survivor Power Rankings are as follows. Each week, our 2 combatants will create separate power rankings. The ranking of the person who is voted out of the next episode will determine the number of points the players will earn. For example, if Drew is voted out of this episode and I have him in 4th place and Frannie has him in 5th place, I will receive 4 points and Frannie will receive 5. At the end of the season, the person with the most points will be crowned the Survivor 45 Power Rankings Challenge champion. And if that person is me, I will be the maid of honor at Frannie's future wedding.
Sounds fair and reasonable to me. Yeah,
that's the rules. Okay, so one very important thing to keep in mind, rankings are not based on how likely we think the player is to win. The smart strategy is to rank players based on how safe we think they are in the upcoming vote. All right, ready to do this?
I'm ready. So my person in my number 1 spot, somebody who I think is super, super safe next week, no matter what, is going to be Kelly. I feel like Kelly has gotten a lot of attention as a potential winner pick from people. And I understand that the rule, I'm not putting her as my winner pick, but I'm just saying I listened to the rules. First of all, I think that the Blue tribe is a pretty solid tribe. Bello, I feel like we'll see as we go through this. I did kind of position people in a tribe-based way to some degree. I feel like Blue is in a pretty good position going into challenges. They seem strong. They've got puzzle savviness. But if they were to go to tribal, I feel like that alliance of 3 women is not going to break apart, especially in recent New Era seasons. We've seen so many women going early. I think this is something that those 3 in particular are pretty oriented to, and they seem to get along well. And of those 3, Kelly, Katurah, and Kendra, I think Kelly is probably the most solid. She seems really like level-headed and dependable, and I just do not see a world in which she's voted out first from this tribe.
Okay. In spot 1, I have Austin. He's a fit guy on a strong tribe that already has an obvious target in Sifu. I'm also betting this no vote thing's not going to affect him. He'll be able to figure this out before Reva goes to tribal council. Unless the final step in the list is, he's got to say a wacky phrase while Jeff Probst snuffs someone's torch, which that would be cruel. At any rate, I think he's the safest person on the show right now. Yeah, that's my number 1. That's Austin. And number 2, Sean, maybe a little controversial to have somebody who's on a dumpster fire of a tribe this high in my rankings. Yeah. But there is no reason to send Sean home at this point. Yes, he's a swing vote. And sometimes those players get caught in the crossfire, but come on. Lulu's next vote is going to focus on either challenge strength or Emily flipping the table. And neither of those are going to involve Sean. So I think he's the safest person on Lulu.
Bold. Okay. I'm sticking with the Bello tribe. My number 2 person is Katurah. Similarly, I think she's in this alliance of women that I feel very confident about in this tribe. I think she's doing really well socially. That whole interaction she had with Jake about being a lawyer was so good. I think she's presenting as like really sweet and is not going to alarm anyone as a potential first boot from her tribe. And like I said, I feel like Bello's in a good position for some of these challenges. And then my number 3 spot, I have Kendra. I'm like very excited about this alliance.
You have a lot of faith in the September
I know.
alliance.
I know. As we're discussing this, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just really like solid on what is it, Virgos and Libras. I'm like very confident in them. Yeah, again with Kendra, I think again, I feel like this women's alliance is really good. If you look at the other people on that tribe, I'm like, do I see, Bruce, Brando, and Jake really banding together strongly and getting out one of these women? I kind of don't. But out of any of them, if Bella were to go to tribal, I feel like Kendra is maybe the kookiest, maybe like stands out the most. And so out of those 3 women, she's the one I could most see getting caught in some sort of crossfire. But in general, I think that they are pretty safe moving forward.
Okay. In spot 3, I have my winner pick, Katura, one of the many secret lawyers, which in my brain I always hear secret lawyers. That's what we are. I adore her. She's part of the September alliance that cannot be broken down. But also like just that the interaction with her and was it Jake?
Yeah, with Jake. Was so good.
Was so good. Like, what's it like being a lawyer?
So incredible.
I love it. Like that's the kind, like what a weird, like was it last season that was salespeople were got the scarlet letter, and this season no one's gonna give money to a lawyer. It's like relax. So yeah, we need a season of all lawyers. Secret lawyers.
It's the only way to get over this is to have every single person be a lawyer and see who lies about it. I think this is a very interesting idea.
Yeah, but I don't have as much faith in the September alliance as you do. But if it breaks down, I don't think she's going to be the target of those 3. So I think she's safe as I was going to say like a daisy. That's not a saying. Safe as a babe in her mother's arms. For this week. What was
safe
that analogy?
As a defenseless infant. Yes.
There you go. Safe as a daisy being held by a safe baby. None of this is making the cut.
A very safe home, very loving. Yes.
I'm gonna work on that. In spot 4, I have Drew. For somebody who didn't have anything actually going on, we actually heard quite a bit from Drew. And I'm not a big edit reader. That's not my forte. But I think that bodes well for him. Him staying in the game for a bit. I think that means the editors probably like him. And quick aside, everybody has 2 sides to them, at least. I'm the biggest introvert there is, and yet here I am on the internet. So I just need to come up with another name for my alter ego. Holmes? That's hey. Holmes.
Sherlocky, maybe not.
Flash Gordon I used to get a lot. Not that I was particularly fast or Flash. But
would you flash people?
No.
Good.
But maybe Mr. Holmes, that's fine. That's but so yeah, I think this went in a weird place.
I know. How do we get back on track here? Yeah.
Can we anywho, I think Drew is as safe as a daisy in a baby's arms. Going forward.
Yeah. In my number 4 spot, I have D. She's again somebody on that red tribe. I think that they are stacked. I think that it's a very, very strong tribe. But of those people, I feel like there are a couple people I'm less sure about. I'm a little more concerned than you with Austin with his, lost vote. And Dee just seems like the strongest woman on that tribe for sure. And she also seems so like affable and likable. I loved when, Sifu is very clearly spying on them. She doesn't approach Sifu and like yell at him or something. She's smiling and she's laughing and she's like, you are spying on us. I'm that. I love the way that she handled that. And I feel like nobody's going to be pointing fingers at her should that tribe go to tribal council. And then in my number 5 spot, I actually have Drew. So I think that he's as safe as a chrysanthemum in a baby's arm. I don't know, just like marginally less.
We're going to work on, if you're enjoying this at home, thank you. A, thank you for joining us. B, we're going to work on this. This is the premiere. We're going to figure it out.
We will be better next time. Yeah. This isn't all going to be about flowers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Drew is somebody who seems like he's getting along with his tribe members. We see him kind of Basile broing out and knocking down the palm fronds with, like Austin, Sifu. I could see him broing out with those people. And then he also is pulling out, poet Drew with somebody like J. Maya. Seems to be affable. I came off the premiere liking Drew a lot more than I thought I would. So I feel like he should be fine if that tribe goes to tribal council.
Okay, we got a lot of the same top here. I have spot number 5, I have D. We didn't get to see a lot of D, which is understandable considering, her tribe didn't have to go do Sweat and Savvy. They won immunity, and she wasn't out in the woods doing a horrible Tony Velachos impersonation. Weirdly, my Tony Velachos impersonation always starts saying, "Hey Josh." When we were out for Game Changers, he was like, "Hey Josh, I got this thing. I'm gonna get this rock, and I'm gonna say it to my kid. And I'll say, here, hold on to my kid. You'll be, and then I'll have a bunch of rocks, and it won't be my kid." So whenever I do a Tony, it's always, "Hey Josh." That's for Josh Wigler, just because I'm sure I could alternate to be somebody else, but that's just how I do it. I didn't say I did a good Tony Velachos impersation.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to get really good, and then I realized that you were doing it, and it was just okay. Sorry.
Oh,
I know this has gotten dark. I'm sorry.
Hey man, no love lost. All's fair in love and power rankings. So I get it. But yeah, D. There are much bigger tigers. There are much bigger targets on Reba. So I think she's going to be super safe. In 6, I have Brando. Sweat and Savvy did not go in my buddy's favor, but he killed it in the immunity challenge puzzle, and it's never a bad thing to have a good puzzle performer on your team. So again, and if Bello somehow belows it, there are much bigger targets than Brando on that tribe.
Mm-hmm. In my number 6 spot, I have Austin. I'm also not too concerned about his lost vote. I mean, just looking at that little piece of paper that he had to, decipher, I think if you look at that, you could kind of almost read it even without going to the tribe flag and trying to hold up all the letters. I don't know what the rest of his tasks are and his series of tasks to get his idol or advantage or whatever. But I feel like he's going to be able to figure them out. Again, he's jacked, he's a huge guy on this tribe, and seems affable, great in challenges. So I do not think that he is in trouble. In number 7, I have Bruce. So perhaps a controversial pick, given that Bruce seemed to be,
I heard he got some bad advice in the pregame when it came to palm fronds. So
that is what I want to know. So yeah, with Bruce, I think that I don't know, how well he's getting along with people. It doesn't look like he's really ruffling feathers yet. We did see something to that effect maybe in the next time on Survivor, but I'm trying not to put too much, credence into that. He does come out a little strong as this dad advice figure, even though that's exactly what he's trying not to do. I love Bruce. He cannot help himself. But I think that the Blue Tribe is going to be hard pressed to vote Bruce out first, even though he, should they go to tribal this week, would no longer be the first boot like he was in season 44. I feel like there's going to be a subconscious desire to give this guy a little more time, because how tragic if he goes out in 44, bonks his head, is gone after 12 hours, and then in season 45, barely makes it into the game. So I am hopeful. I'm hopeful that the other people on his tribe will honestly keep him around for one vote just to give him a chance. I don't know. Maybe I'm too nice. That's
I'm just thinking of I wonder if Francesca went in there with that logic. She's like, oh, they wouldn't vote me out first twice.
Yeah, that would be so mean.
The favorites are like, this will be hilarious. So yes, hopefully not. Hopefully,
maybe if Philip Shepard was on Bruce's tribe, we would have a different set of worries. But I feel like he's pretty solid with that group.
Well, just know this: if Bruce goes, I'm 100% blaming you.
Yeah, no, please.
In spot 7, I have Caleb. Emily had made the point that it doesn't matter if they lose challenges because they can just pick off Sabaya and Caleb. Oh, they're going to lose challenges, but I doubt it's Caleb and Sabaya that suffer for that. This tribe is going to go the way Sean goes, and it sounds like he's in Caleb's corner. We probably need a nickname for Caleb and Sabaya. Kabaya Sabaleb?
Sabaleb.
Let's know what you think in the
Rolls
comment section.
Off the tongue. Really?
Yeah, let's find a team name for them and let's get that together. In spot 8, I have Kelly, a bit lower than you did. And this is kind of like that middle of the pack where I just haven't seen enough, and they don't seem like they're going to be in real trouble, but someone can surprise you. My famous thing I got super wrong was I was out for Survivor Nicaragua and interviewed Nayanka and was like, this is she's too nice for this game. She is the sweetest thing. This game is going to eat her alive. And I was wrong. So I'm in the back of my mind, just know that anybody has the possibility to zig when I expect them to zag. But Kelly, she's in the middle of the pack. Kelly's one of those people, she's got a nice 3-person alliance, but we don't know who they're going to rope in as their 4th. And if the team turns on that alliance, I think Kendra seems like the more obvious target because she's a bigger personality, and also she was out on that excursion. So yeah, right in the middle, I've got Kelly.
That is a great point about the excursion. I've kind of like deleted that from my assessment here, but that's a super good point. In my number 8 spot, I have Brando. Again, like you said, him and Jake, didn't exactly excel at the sweat and savvy, but that looked so hard. Like I saw a video online of how one is supposed to solve this puzzle. No chance they got that. Like that was ridiculous. So I think he did really well with what he was given. Like you said, excelled in the immunity challenge puzzle. The reason I have him a little bit lower than some of the other people on his tribe is just because I think that a lot of those women look really strong, and Brando's a small guy, you know what I mean? So I could see a world in which they look at him and say, are you helping us in challenges? Like, is the puzzle performance that important? If they were to do that, I think that they would be incorrect, because I think most challenges are made by the puzzle. But
Yes.
That's why I have him a smidge lower, but ultimately I feel like he's in a good position. And then in my number 9 spot, I have Sabaya. Loved Sabaya in this premiere. I thought she did so wonderful. Like, I'm so glad that she got to do the sweat and savvy as well. So we got some more from her, got her like thoughts on all of that. And I feel like the Yellow Tribe is not set up for this next immunity challenge in terms of challenge performance, with all the love in the world to them. But I feel like if they go to tribal, I see no permutation in which Sabaya goes home. It feels like she is in the ear of a lot of different people. The only person who does not seem friendly to her is Emily. And it sort of seems like other people don't love Emily too. So I feel like Sabaya is going to be the one that comes out on top in this scenario. And I just don't see her going home.
Okay. In 9, I have Jay Maya. Here's another person we didn't see very much of, but she pretended to care about Drew's poetry. So she has some social game, or I don't know, maybe she's like a huge poetry enthusiast. I don't know. Yeah. But again, there's not much to go on. We don't know much about the Rabanians. Rabanians? How do you feel about that one? Is that gonna? We're just workshopping all this stuff. It's the early
Rabanians. Days. Okay. I was like, what on earth? The Rebanites?
Oh, that's good too.
Rebanites? Yeah.
Let us know in the comment section.
Yeah.
In spot 10, I have Bruce. Here's a question for you, Frannie. How hard is it to be someone you're not out there? Because I'd imagine with the hunger and the paranoia and the lack of sleep that it would almost be impossible. And I feel like I've heard that a lot from contestants. You can put up a facade for just so long.
Yeah. It's like Emily said during tribal. I feel like you just become a more extreme, weird, and aggressive version of yourself, which maybe isn't what you look like in your everyday. But I feel like everyone goes into the game wanting to be some strategic mastermind or wanting to, lie about their profession, all this stuff. You just can't hide it. You are so low that whatever is within you, personally, your gumption, whatever, just bubbles out. And yeah, I feel like it's bubbling out of Bruce right now. Yeah. He just wants to lead. He loves it. And yeah, it makes me worried for him a bit.
Yeah, so that's obviously he's a strong guy. If he can stop from bonking himself during challenges, he should be in good shape. But a little lower just because that September Alliance does seem to have him in their sights a little bit. But yeah, I got Bruce in spot 10.
Yeah, I loved, by the way, Jeff during the challenge saying, "Keep your head down, Bruce." Like I feel like the only reason they had those low things in the challenges was so that Jeff could say that. So, they get the shot of Bruce crawling through the mud again.
Although in Beast Mode Cowboy, Caleb, he passed out digging sand, and the very first challenge he came back in, they had him digging sand. So I don't know if they're always, looking out in their best interests.
Yeah, no, I feel like they're, Jeff's like, "Caleb, go dig that sand harder." Yeah. Well, what happens if you do that again? Yeah, I thought that was awesome. So, okay. So spot 10, I have Jake in spot 10. I think that he is in a decent position. I was a little worried that September Alliance, and especially Kendra, seemed to be identifying him quickly as somebody to be worried about, just because he's a lawyer and, as Katura said, a baby lawyer at that. But he seems like really affable and friendly. And as Katura pointed out herself, he doesn't seem to give off master strategist vibes quite yet. So I don't know that he's in a horrible position in his tribe. And then in spot 11, I have Jay Maya. Similar to you, we didn't see a ton from her, but like you said, she seems really nice, really sweet. I think that what brings her up for me is that her tribe seems to be really well positioned. So I have a hard time seeing them going to tribal next week. But if they do, I could see a world in which she's targeted just because she's like a smaller woman on this tribe that is stacked. So should that tribe decide to focus on challenge performance, I think she could be in a difficult position.
At spot 11, I have Jake. And, I know they made a point to say that he was the target of the September Alliance, but I can't quite see that at this point. Like right now, everybody's thinking, oh, good, Lulu is very bad at challenges, so we might not go to tribal for a while. But if, we don't need to focus on tribe strength. But in the second episode, if, Reba or Bello go to tribal, that's going to change their thinking really quick. Like if they lose this next immunity challenge. So I could see a situation where they're like, we were going to target Jake, but apparently Lulu can, put up a win every now and then. It might scare them a bit. So Jake is low because, again, he is a target, but he's not the lowest Bello on my list.
Yeah, well, and this is a wonderful point, because I actually think if you are a tribe who does not go to tribal council right away, and especially if you wait like a couple of cycles, the first person who is a target is often like completely off of the board by the time you actually go to tribal council, because as a tribe, you have so much time to like talk and spin around each other and come up with so many ideas that sometimes the person who at the beginning seems like an easy boot or an easy target ends up being like a decision maker by the time you actually get to tribal. So something I feel like I've noticed before. So yeah, maybe Jake should be like really high for us, given that he was put out as a target day one.
You should immediately be like, target me, and then it's like by the time it'll wear off.
Yeah, this is what you were saying, how people take things they learn in power rankings into the game. If I go back on Survivor day one, I'm just gonna say massive target right here.
And you're gonna be like, let's go weave some palm fronds.
Yeah, yes. I'm saying Gordon told me to. This is my strategy. Yeah, it's gonna be
I'm a fun ant. Let's weave some palm fronds.
A fun ant, yeah.
In spot 12, I have Sifu. They made it seem like Sifu was the obvious target on Reba with his very sloppy impersonation of Tony Vlachos. Oh, a little bit worse than mine, which is super bad, according to my friend Frannie. But just like with Jake, I think if Reba loses, they're going to focus on challenge strength. And it's good to have a Tai Chi master around in those challenges. So I think he's low, but I think he's going to, if they go to tribal, he's going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear my dog bark just then?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Awesome. Because I was going to say,
do you think a dog appearing in the power rankings is going to make people watch it less or more?
Yeah.
I think more.
Wait. This is actually like a huge sell. Yeah, come on, bark more. Okay, so in my number 12 spot, I had Julie. Just because I feel we didn't see a ton from her. Again, I think her only confessional we really saw was her talking about how she's going to lie about being a lawyer. The lawyers just love to lie about it in some capacity. Which I guess
lawyers.
is smart.
That's what
I'll start saying this is our new theme song for this season. But yeah, I think that Julie is not in a horrible position. Again, she's on this really strong tribe. I could see a world in which, if Reba tribe goes to tribal council, people turn towards her and say, you are maybe one of the smaller people on our team. You're one of the older people on our team. I would be really upset if that happened, because I like Julie a lot, but I don't know that she's in the best position on Reba, but she's also not my lowest Reba. Because in spot 13, I have Sifu. And I think that Sifu seems like a super fun guy, but I think that he's letting his energy get the better of him right now. Rolling around, hiding. He gets caught spying on like day 1 or 2, which is incredible. I feel like people are already starting to notice that he's maybe playing the game a little too excitable or a little too hard. And with the rest of Reba being a pretty strong tribe as well, I could actually see a world in which Reba goes to tribal council and says, we can afford to lose this strong guy because we have, Mr. Muscles with Austin, and get him out because he's untrustworthy. So that has me a little bit concerned for Sifu in spot 13.
Now, before we move on, did I hear a dog bark?
Oh, God.
Are you kidding me? Let's be professional here.
This is a
Frannie.
professional organization right here. Yeah. Come on. I'll do better next time. I will.
In spot 13, F Sabaya. I don't think Sabaya should be this low. I think she's making lemonade with the lemons that Jeff Probst has given her, but there's always twists and idols that could swing the game in Emily and Brandon's favor. And I think Sabaya has a higher profile than Caleb right now. So for that reason, I need her lower just in case, Brandon or Emily figure something out. In spot 14, Julie. Our other secret lawyer, we didn't get to see much from her, and this ranking is no indication of her value as a person or a player. It's just sometimes when a tribe loses, it's easy to point the finger at the older person on the tribe. This is not my opinion on the value of older contestants, because I would be one myself. I'm just leaning into what happens historically. If it's me, wildcard Sifu should be the one from that to go from that tribe. I wouldn't keep what I can't predict. But I don't get a vote. So Julie is in 14.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, by the way. That is the thing that I find most scary in another Survivor contestant that I'm up against is unpredictability. It's just like terrifying. I would so much rather have somebody who's like lying, but I can predict because I know they lie all the time, you know?
Yeah, if I don't think you're working in your best interest, then I don't know what to do with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yeah, that's such a good point. Okay, so in my spot 14, I have Caleb. You have him higher, right? Where did you place him?
Where did I have Caleb? Hold on.
You had him a while ago.
Where are you, Caleb? 7.
7. Okay, so let me say, I loved Caleb after the premiere. I thought he was wonderful. So I feel like I'm coming off low on Caleb. But I feel like in that Lulu tribe, we already kind of had Emily seeming to target Caleb. And she even said herself that, you know, she's concerned about this duo of Caleb and Sabaya, which, you know, questionable validity of that, but I feel like Emily said specifically that she wanted to target Caleb to weaken Sabaya, which I found very interesting. Like at this point, I don't know that those two are a strong enough duo that you really need to like target one to weaken the other. But at any rate, Caleb has already been brought up as somebody who's in Emily's sights. So that has me a little worried for him should the Lulu tribe go to tribal council. But ultimately, I think that his challenge ability will help him in that scenario.
Missed that one.
You missed that one where Emily said that?
Yeah, I zipped right out of my brain. Oh no.
Right. Oh no.
I need to redo all my things. So just give me a
minute.
minute.
This is so unprofessional. You did not even watch the episode closely. Yeah.
I watched the episode 3 times in the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Frannie.
I know. If we miss things after watching it 3 times, what does the casual viewer even glean from this at all? That's what I want to understand. And in spot 15, I have Sean. You know, it feels kind of weird now that he's this low. Sean is somebody who you had pretty high. I think I sort of put in a lot of the people that I felt like I had a gut feeling about where they would fall. And then Sean was somebody who I just didn't really know. I feel like we didn't really get a lot from him, especially in the second half of the episode, which was odd because he was about to go to tribal council. But we did get from him is he went to Sabaya, told Sabaya that Emily seemed to be targeting her. So hopefully he has something going on or starting with Sabaya and Caleb. Yeah, I don't know. I sort of just don't know where his head is at, but he seems like a social and savvy player. So I hope that he's able to make it out if Lulu goes to tribal council.
You have a very Lulu heavy bottom of your rankings.
I'm so concerned for Lulu. I know. And I was really struggling with how to approach this. I just really stacked them all at the end, didn't I? I was struggling with how to approach this, like the 3 tribe format with the power rankings. But I was just like, I can't in good conscience put like Austin lower than any of the Lulus. I'm like, I just don't understand how I could do that. So I hope that they don't go to tribal council because I like them a lot. I think they're so fun, but I'm just a little worried after the premiere tribal performance.
What if the challenge is pyramid predictions, you know, and this they're already ready to go? Like you could be in some serious trouble.
Yeah, the challenge is actually conspiracy like debunking. Yeah. It's gonna be wonderful.
You're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
In spot 15, I had Kendra. And based on what we saw in the episode, Kendra should be in good shape. She started an alliance of people with September birthdays. They have an early target in Bruce. Also, Jake. Jake, is that right?
Jake, yeah.
Jake. Oh, I'm so bad at the names. But as Jeff Probst told us on the On Fire podcast, there was a twist that did not make the air that involved Kendra getting to spend some time on Lulu Beach. That might make some people on the tribe wary of a cross-tribe alliance. And early in the game, people don't need a lot to target you, and that would definitely be enough. So, you know, I like to have the most likely targets from each tribe just in case the challenge is something that unexpected or Lulu pulls off an upset. So I have Kendra in spot 15.
Yeah, you know, I had heard about this twist that wasn't shown as well from the On Fire podcast. I forgot about this entirely as I was doing my rankings. I feel like that's very astute because it sounds like she spent the whole afternoon and evening with them up until tribal. That is such a long time to be away from camp. And, you know, of course, Brando and Jake were away from the Bello tribe too when they were doing the Sweat and Savvy, but like that's 2 people versus 1 person. So, yeah, I definitely could see that affecting her relationships in the game. I hope I hope they don't. She's a fun character.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with that, what has happened? Jeff had said that she had gone to their camp, spent the day with them, and then was able to cast a secret vote. And the decision was made that the majority would target Emily, and then Kendra's vote would go toward Brandon in case Emily did shot in the dark or something along those lines. In spot 16, I have Emily. Oh, Emily, my survivor love. I wanted a legitimate villain for so long, and I know all of you love the word associations on my exit interviews, but they've gotten so nice recently. I'm used to Corinne Kaplan tearing her cast a new one, and I'm not even sure Emily's a villain, but her commitment to saying what's on her in her brain kind of leans her in that direction. The lack of a filter, as Bruce would tell us, but that does put a target on her back, and I think Lulu goes the way Sean goes, and I think Sean is with Caleb and Savaya. So I think Emily and Brandon are in big trouble, and I think, you know, if they want to keep challenge strength, Emily's more likely to stay, with her being next up if Brandon goes. So that's my 16.
Interesting. Okay, so I have Brandon in my 16th spot. Maybe this is just a hopeful spot. I like Brandon a lot, and I really, really want him to come back from this kind of like tough beginning. I think that looking at that Lulu tribe, he's definitely in a tough position. He has struggled in challenges. He's struggled with the acid reflux. Oh my God, I like felt that in my chest when he was describing it, because I get reflux too. So I will say though, I feel like those first 3 days on the beach are like the most anxious, the most challenging. And I feel like I've seen a lot of survivors kind of get their footing after that initial period. So that's what I'm hoping will happen with Brandon. But again, he's in spot 16, so I'm not feeling wonderful about his chances, but I feel like he has a smidge of a better shot just socially than my 17th pick, which is Emily. Yeah, Emily, wonderful television, but I feel like she is in such a tough spot with her tribe. Like, not only has she, it seems, annoyed them a little bit, but she's also like targeting Sabaya very openly, which I think puts her in a really tough spot to, you know, rebuild that relationship now that they're all going back to camp together. I will just say for Emily, I was thinking about this in terms of her as like a player. If I were on the beach with her, one thing that's wonderful about Emily is I feel like you can be pretty confident she's not lying to you. You know what I mean? She is going to tell you what she actually thinks. And like we were talking about earlier with like unpredictability, she seems less unpredictable because she has this, you know, stance, and I think she's going to be sticking to it. So in that sense, some people might want to keep Emily around, but I'm just really nervous for her if Lulu goes to tribal council.
Yeah, I kind of flop between my 16 and 17, so I absolutely understand your lineup. I obviously had Brandon. Buddy, I love you. There are certain names that have popped up like in my Instagram comments or my Twitter or X. I hate X so much.
Let's just agree here to call it Twitter.
Okay, my Twitter mentions and whenever I see one of those names, and because that name sticks out, Brandon Donlin, because it's almost the same name. When they become contestants on the show, I get giddy. Like I love to see, you know, because they know who I am, which I love that. But I'm just so happy to see his name in the cast list. And Brandon, he's one of those people. Oh, I hope he can turn things around. I hope he blows through the next challenge and leads the Bad News Bears to victory over the Yankees. But if that doesn't happen and Lulu heads to tribal again next week, I think his time could be up. Unless Sean randomly quits, like that's also a possibility too. Like, so
you know, after the premiere, I'm just not sure anymore. You know what I mean? So it could happen. It could certainly happen.
Expect the unexpected.
This is true.
Okay, so diving back into our rankings, which are now right here below us. There are no locks of the week. We didn't agree on anything. Which
we're off to a really tough start. I feel like we need to get back on the same wavelength, Gordon. This is bad.
What is this going to mean when I'm trying to pick out, you know, bridesmaids dresses and centerpieces? What do bridesmaids do? I don't know. You're
gonna plan a horrible bachelorette party for me. I can see it now.
You're gonna hate the bachelorette party I planned. But yeah, so no, like we didn't agree on anything. We did have quite a disparity of the week though. I had Sean in spot 2, and where did you have Sean?
I had Sean in spot 15, which I'm now like, why did I do that? But I think it's just because I feel like I have no idea with him. So I kind of now I'm like, I kind of want him to go. I want this to become battle.
If he goes, you've got a 13-point lead.
This is Oh, right. Oh, yes. Okay. Come on, Sean.
Come on, Sean. You got to hang in there, buddy. You got to hang in there. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So
gosh.
yeah. So our picks are locked in. If you want to play along, please do. Any of your picks in the comment section below. Feel free to keep score and play along. I think we can all agree that the honor system is the best way to do this. If you do better than us, we'll give you a shout out. If you do worse than us, you're going to get a gentle ribbing. We're not monsters. And if you do equal with us, we'll give you a shout out too, because it's all in the fun. But again, also, if you enjoy this content, we love putting it together for you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, blah, 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 do all the things. Come back this Thursday for the exit interview, hopefully not with Sean. Thank you so much, Frannie. Oh my goodness. I like, you were my first pick, and I thought you were gonna do great, and you did great, except for your dog just ruined it.
Just, oh my God. She's just such a piece of, I know.
What's her name?
Winnie.
Winnie's gonna leave this with a huge fan base.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's tuning in for
the
me.
real star of this power ranking. Yeah, yeah. What do you
Yes.
think about that? She's got nothing to say.
Nothing. Oh, now she has nothing to say.
Now we're silent. What's up with that?
I know.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This is so fun. I'm so excited to keep going through the whole season.
I know, and I know this is a huge commitment. So again, I very much appreciate it. And I hope you join us all season 2. And we hope to see you next Monday for even more of the Survivor 45 Power Rankings.
Yay. Yeah, Sean. Oh my God. That was crazy. What did you have him 5th?
I had him 2nd.
2nd?
Yeah.
You're wild for that.
Okay, explain to me a situation where Sean goes home.
I mean, okay. Well, true.